What's up? This is Brian Pfeiffer, marketingmeathead.com. Today I'm going to talk to you about a free $10,000 grant from the SBA and the United States government. All right, welcome back. So I'm sure most of you have heard the news. They're going to be doing a lot of, money grant, giveaway, loan type stuff going on here in the very near future. So I went ahead and put together a nice presentation here for you. If you are self-employed or you do 1099 people, you potentially are going to qualify for this. And they're making it fairly easy with just like a credit check to be able to get this loan, okay, or grant, if you will. And I'm going to kind of go over a bunch of the details on here. What I'm going to do is I got a highlighted copy of the actual bill, and then I'm going to put a link for that below. So if you want to go ahead and grab that or just open it up, you'll be able to go in and see some of the more important things. Now, I haven't read the whole thing, but I did kind of skim it, and I got the gist of it, and it looks pretty good, okay? And I've already applied for this, and I would highly recommend you apply for it, okay? Because I'm pretty sure in the in the grant money, you're going to be limited to about, I think it's about 100,000 businesses are going to get that grant money. Opportunity to, maybe get, at some point they may do another stimulus and there might be another opportunity to get some of that grant money. But I can imagine there's just like millions of businesses applying for this thing. So, I'm not holding my hopes up too high of getting anything here. But, my business was basically shut down in Las Vegas overnight because of the illness. So let's go ahead and get into it here. First off, they're doing this whole thing now. You can see my highlighted stuff here. I'm going to go ahead and open this up so it's in the center. They're doing this obviously to keep the money flowing. They call it helicopter money basically. So like the way the debt-based system works is you have to have spending. If people are not spending, then the system's going to lock up, and basically there's going to be potentially like a run on banks, and it's just a mess. So if people are spending and people are getting money coming in, right now a lot of people aren't producing because they're out of work. But if you're giving it, at least putting some money into the system, then they're going to start spending and keep the system going. And that's a very simplified version of what's going on right now, but that's the gist of it, okay? So there's been some terms out there. I can't remember who coined the term helicopter money, but I've heard about this for a number of years now, and it's kind of coming true, okay? So basically they're putting out a grant, okay? And the grant is up to $10,000. And then you basically get that, they say, within like 3 days of reading through this bill. Like I said, I haven't read through the whole thing in like detail, but I've looked through it. The people that are eligible for this bill are like sole proprietors, independent contractors, self-employed individuals. So that might be you, okay? If you have a side hustle, potentially that was affected by the illness, then you can apply for this economic bill, stimulus bill that just came out. So I went ahead and did it. I'm going to kind of walk you through the steps here. I just want to show you guys some of the stuff I've highlighted here. This is supposed to be going to our payroll costs, insurance premiums, commissions, employee salaries, that kind of stuff. And as long as you're using it for that, this potentially could be a forgiven loan, okay? Meaning that if you could prove at some point that you actually didn't go out and, go on a vacation or something with this money, that you used it for stuff that was needed during this crisis, then potentially they might actually not make you pay this back. So not only is it a potential loan, but it's also a potential forgivable loan, which is huge, okay? The whole idea of this thing, just reading through it, it is for people like myself, and I'm sure there's a number of other people out there that are independent contractors, and basically they're making it pretty easy to get it, apparently. Like, the only thing I could see being the difficult part here is, I'm envisioning like the SBA office, okay, and I'm envisioning that like the unemployment office, and they probably in the last couple of weeks when this kind of all went down, which was pretty sudden, around March 13th, 14th is when they started shutting everything down by law, and all the businesses. These offices that run the unemployment office and the SBE office, they probably only have a fixed number of employees, okay? And I'm sure there's a process to get hired at these facilities and working for the government that probably takes more than a couple weeks. So whatever they had going into this thing, is probably what they're working with as far as the number of bodies and actual people that are going to be able to review this kind of paperwork and stuff that I'm submitting, and every other business and every other person that got unemployed, which is in the millions, is submitting. Okay, I'm sure there's a lot more people that are unemployed right now, and a lot more businesses that even submitted on here that need help than they're even reporting, because if I know anything about the government system, the wheels kind of move slow, and there's only so many people there that can actually physically, how many applications can one human being go through a day, and how many human beings are there to actually go through these applications? Okay, so I'm not holding my breath here on getting any of this money anytime soon. Okay, if it comes and I do get $10,000 according to this bill, I'm supposed to get a $10,000 kind of emergency grant. And even if I don't get approved for any kind of loan, I get to keep the grant. Okay, so basically it's $10,000 for free. So that's the whole point of this video, is you might as well apply for this thing. And if you got decent credit, because they're going to run your credit, and they don't even say if you need to have good credit. You might even have to be able to get this with bad credit. Then you could possibly get that $10,000 loan. Okay, so that's the purpose of this video. And if you're seeing this, then I would 100%, and if you have any kind of side hustle, you've done any kind of 1099, sole proprietor, you've done any of that in your taxes in the last year or year before that. For me, I haven't done my taxes for 2019. I filed an extension, but I have the records from 2018, so I should be good. The whole idea here, they want you to retain your workers, they want you to maintain payroll, they want you to keep paying your mortgage and your lease and your utility payments. All that stuff is what they want you to do, okay? And it's pretty fair, honestly. The government forced us to shut down. I'm a believer in this whole illness thing, that it needs to be I really honestly feel like we need to go under martial law for 30 days, like overseas did, and just get it out of the system over here. Okay, basically snuff it out, and then don't let anybody else in countries that it's not stuffed out in, and we might be able to get back on with our normal lives and back on with our business. As long as they keep being lax about the whole situation of letting people go outside, then I'm pretty sure this thing's going to go on for a lot longer than 30 days. It's probably going to go on for at least 60, maybe even into June, okay, in my opinion. But I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. I'm actually hoping we're back in business by mid-April or maybe May, but I think that's very wishful thinking at this point based on what I'm looking at online. So again, I'm going to include this document. A couple other points I want to make here. No collateral on this loan. Basically, you have a deferred payment for 6 months, and then potentially you could actually defer that for up to a year. And the loan would have a 10-year maturity on it. There's some stuff about interest. I'm sure there's a little bit of legal mumbo jumbo in here, depending on your situation. You may or may not have to pay interest. You may be able to get some of it for some of it written off, however you want to say that. But here's a section that talks about you don't have to pay anything for 6 months. So that it gives us a little break. Okay, if they give us $10,000 and they approve the loan and they give us actually $20,000, then you have $20,000 that kind of get you through till that first loan payment's going to be due, and that's going to be pretty useful in my situation. Okay. The covered loan shall receive a 0% risk weight of 0%. There's no fee to pay it back early. I noticed they put that in there. There's a lot of good things here. I mean, the only bad things I can see is number one, if you can't get through to there's a million people trying to submit a loan and they can't even get your application looked at. That's part of the problem. And then also if for some reason you get the loan and then you got to pay it back, and it's difficult to pay it back at a later date. Okay, that could be an issue as well. But they're saying based on the illness there. So yeah, there's some other stuff in here that I highlighted. There's your grant money. I did notice that. Now this is up to 10 billion, but if everybody's getting 10,000 of that, that's only 100,000 of those 100,000 businesses that are going to be eligible for those grants. And once they're gone, they're gone. And I'm going to guess there's at least 100,000 people that applied for this already. Just on one of the videos that I watched about this, it had 155,000 views. So the application's just got to be pouring. And I can only imagine that office on Monday morning when these people go back to work, how many applications they got to sift through. And, depending on where yours is in the pile, I mean, good luck, man. It's just not realistic. Some of the other things, you can't have more than 500 employees here. Any individual operates under a sole proprietorship with or without employees. That's you, that's us, most of us that are watching this. Shall waive any personal guarantee. We need to be in business for a year period. Basically, that's me. I'm good there. And here's where it talks about you just based on the credit score. Okay, it actually talks about that. And then you're supposed to be able to get this grant of $10,000 3 days after the administrator receives the application. Well, I don't even see how that's physically possible, but we'll see. And then if you don't get the loan, then you actually don't have to pay the 10 grand back. So pretty crazy. But this will tremendously help us out. Hopefully I can get this thing. Okay, so let me walk you through the process. It looks like this is going to end on December 31st of 2020, by the way. So, I'm sure that grant money will be long gone by then. All right, so let's go through, and I'm going to leave a link to the site to get this. This is an SBA site, okay, and then you just apply for the disaster assistance. Okay, notice here is the illness, and apply for the assistance. Okay, and this is where you basically go through and you got to just click a few things and fill out some forms. Okay, obviously the list of the disasters and whatnot. But to apply, you're just going to click here. Okay, and you're going to see the download instructions. Okay, so here's the application. Okay, you're going to want to go ahead and fill that out. I'll open that up just so you can see it. It's pretty simple. This takes about 4 or 5 minutes to fill out. No big deal. That is the first form that I would fill out. Now you can fill it out on the computer and then print it out and then sign it and then put it into like a scanner and then put it into one big document because you're able to submit that document right here. Now there was also something that I read somewhere, I can't remember exactly where I read it, that I've actually submitted my application twice now. I submitted to Nevada, I submitted here, and then they say they're going to be coming out with a new website next week, and potentially if your loan didn't get approved by then or whatever, then you're going to have to resubmit. So make sure you keep all your paperwork in like a nice PDF. Resubmit it to this new website that's supposedly going to be quicker. There's going to be more people working. I don't know exactly. Who knows? This is all being manufactured as we go here. Okay, so the business loan application, and then once you fill out the business loan application, you also need to fill out these documents. Okay, the 4506T. That is basically a request for them to be able to pull your transcripts of your taxes and whatnot. I filled one out for my personal, and I filled one out for my business, just in case that is a question. What I try to do is do everything possible when I filled out this application that might not get it delayed. Okay, and I tried to be as complete as possible, give them everything they're asking for, and then basically that's what I try to do. So some of the other forms that I had to fill out here, I had to fill out this schedule, the SBA form 2202, and that just shows your liabilities. You have to list out like all your your mortgage, your car payment, if you have any credit cards, any kind of loans, you got to put them on there. That I filled out, and what else did I fill out here? I got it over here in my application. So the 4056T, I would recommend doing one for the business and for the personal. I don't know if you need to or not, but why not? It doesn't seem to hurt. So I did that. I did the application, which didn't take long at all. And then it also told you needed the form 413, which all these forms are right here, by the way. You can just click on these forms, and like if we click on the schedule liabilities forms here, that's what that one looks like. And what was the other one here? The 413. It told me to fill out. There it is. The 413D. Okay, this is basically your assets that you own and then your liabilities. So you kind of determine your net worth here. Pretty easy to go through if my life's not super complicated at this point. I don't have like a gazillion things. My business is, my net worth is my net worth. And that was it. I mean, those are the main ones you needed to fill out. I think it needed basically 4 forms. The 405, the 413, the 2202, the 45OT, and then the actual application itself. And that's all you need to start. And then it said if they have additional requests, they may request some other stuff from you. They did say that you might need to get a a complete copy of all your schedules, the most recent federal income tax return. This is only if they request it, by the way. Okay, this is a additional if requested, they said. And anybody that's got more than 50% of the business, they might have to do that as well. The most recent federal income tax return, a year-end profit and loss statement. Now, if you don't have a year-end profit and loss statement, and you might want to get working on that because they might ask for that. I actually have one. I had it done recently, and I might ask my accountant for an updated one just in case they ask me for it. I have it quick. My guess is if somebody does actually reach out to me and say, I need this, you want to have those documents on hand, and you want to be able to get those to them immediately because maybe all of a sudden they're working on your file, you give them what they need, and they approve you, that type of thing. And if you don't have what they need, then all of a sudden you might go back into the big pile of millions of applications, and they may never hear from them again. So current year-to-date profit and loss, definitely something I got to remind my accountant to give me. I'm going to get the most current one. And then you might have to do an SBA Form 1368 providing monthly sales figures that'll generally be required when requesting an increase in the amount of the economic injury. Okay, so yeah, that would be something I could probably get filling out too because I do kind of know my sales, what they would have been in March and what they would have been in April and May and whatnot, and I could easily get that filled out. But that shouldn't be, none of that stuff seemed like it was going to be that big of a deal. So that's it. Hopefully this video was useful for the people out there that are watching. If you are a sole proprietor, 1099, you do have 1099s, pretty much if you have any kind of business or side hustle, I would go ahead and fill out this application and submit the forms and see if you can get that 10 grand because I don't think you have to pay it back. So free 10,000 from the U.S. government. It's one of those situations. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today. Make sure you subscribe, bang that notifications bell if you like the content. Downloads are below. We'll talk to you later.